So Pastor Monte is a reader. He has been an avid reader most of his life, and so I think it's appropriate for us. Are you making faces?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. This is just very different for me.
Yeah.
This is very different. It's kind of nice to sit down and talk to the audience. It's very different.
Yes, so give us some books, maybe a couple book recommendations that you think every Christian should consider reading.
Oh, wow. I could talk about this for a very long time. Some time ago, when I was preaching at the college with Dr. Johnny Pope, I asked him to, I gave him a 3x5 card. I said, please write down 3 to 5 books that you would tell me to read that have influenced your life. And Dr. Pope smiled and he said, I can do much better than that. He said, give me your email address. So I gave him my email address, and Johnny Pope had a list, I think, of nearly 30 books that he had actually compiled for a local Christian bookstore in Houston where he pastors. And it was his reading list. And I'll just tell you, tremendous, tremendous books. Not everything that you would endorse. And he told me this. He said, you can't endorse everything in these books, but he said they're very tremendous. So one of the books that I've been reading is The Suffering Savior by Krummacher. He was a German, conservative Lutheran, but I'm certain that he was saved by reading what I'm reading in his work. And it was translated into English. They did a wonderful job translating it. And it actually deals with all of the events prior to and in the portion of the Passion Week. And at my church, I've been preaching. It's a devotional style book, and I'd recommend it to any Christian. In my church, I've been preaching messages through the Passion Week that are based on some of the things in that book. So that would be one of the recent books. Also, I'll mention an author, Arnold Fruchtenbaum. Arnold Fruchtenbaum. He is a converted Jew, and he is tremendous in the area of Bible prophecy, tremendous in the area of theology. He takes a very literal view of the Bible and its teaching, and he is strong on the Old Testament, and I found his things to be wonderful. But, as far as recreational reading goes, and by the way, when I say this, I'm not endorsing every concept. Does everyone understand that? I'm not, I had a deacon, my first deacon chairman in North Carolina, where my first pastorate was. His name was Gilf Carpenter. And Gilf and I were talking. He was a very elderly man, a man filled with wisdom. I was 21 years old when I became the senior pastor of a small Baptist church. You say, Pastor Monte, why would they take a 21-year-old? They explained after they voted for me and secured me as their pastor. The deacons called me to an office. They said, do you know why we voted for you? And I was thinking, well, it's because of my brilliant expositional preaching. And they didn't say that. They said it's because this church is in deep debt. And when it goes under, they said, you're young and single and you can just move on and it won't hurt you. That was my great introduction to Christian ministry. But Gilf Carpenter said this to me one time. I've never forgotten it. He said this. He said, learn how to eat the hay and spit out the briars. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was tremendous, because there's hay, there's some briars here and there, but there is some good hay. There are some things worth contemplating and thinking about. So you asked, I do recreational reading. My favorite American author is the author Thomas Wolfe. I do not subscribe to his nihilistic philosophy of life. I love his vocabulary and his use of descriptive language is fantastic. So his book, A Look Homeward Angel, Of Time and the River, if you have a lot of time and if you are patient, those would be some interesting volumes to peruse. But again, not an endorsement of philosophy. You can gain, Dr. Bob Jones Sr. said, to skim the cream from every man. So those are several things, and I could just go on and on about that.
Yeah, good, okay. How do you spell Fruchtenbaum? I'm just kidding. Okay.
It's like it sounds, probably.
Okay.
The nice thing about shopping on Amazon.com is it figures out spelling for you. I've noticed that. Did you mean this?
Yeah.
And it's 18 letters different from what I put in, but it's right. So.
Yes, good.